Oscar BEVIS, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, the King of Sheffield, the new King of Sheffield. It used to be Kell Brook, let's say, now it's Sonny Edwards. You're still a London boy at heart, but you're the King of Sheffield now, are we, mate?
No, I don't know about that. I think a few choice Sheffield-born fighters will have a problem with that statement, but yeah, I'm the king of the world, you know what I mean, and everything in it.
King of the world sounds a lot better. These little shows, yeah, fights in a car park, normally fights in a car park probably aren't really licensed, but I'll tell you what, these are seriously good shows, aren't they?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be perfectly honest. I was half laughing when I first seen, because obviously we was having a bit of back and forth. When I first seen Tommy Frank was fighting out in car parks, I was half laughing. Do you know what I mean? But I come down here last week and it's like a music festival or something. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of vibe you've got, and it's just good, and it's a great opportunity for the fight. It's a great platform, you know. Fightzone, I think, doing great things for the boxers that perhaps wouldn't be getting chances, because we've seen fights now that, especially during the sort of pandemic times, we would never have seen. Especially, most of the fights have been good fights, and they'd be sort of hidden away on small halls that only really people that was there got to enjoy. But, you know, with Fightzone sort of backing the fighters and looking to invest and support and build some careers, you know, for all the lads down there, it's great. And I mean, this is the second week in a row I've been. I'm coming there next week as well for the Frank Guerrero's rematch. I think I'm doing a bit of speaking after this as well. So, yeah, like, you know me, I'm at every show anyway. I love boxing. I mean, when Saturday comes round, if I'm not watching it on TV, I would like to be there at the show. So this is only about 15-20 minutes from where I live. So, yeah, you'll probably be seeing me at a lot of these ones.
We might as well jump in and talk about Tommy Frank then. What's the deal there? I suppose that was something that was rumoured a while ago. Obviously, like you said, you're now king of the world. But, yeah, what's the deal there?
No, because me and Tommy, there's always been like a great deal of respect. We was like sparring partners for a little bit, or maybe use that a bit loosely, but I think 3 or 4 times maybe we sparred. And he's a nice lad, really, genuinely. But obviously, in boxing, it's a business. You know, when your name starts getting mentioned and you're not happy with how it's being mentioned, you have the right to reply. And
yeah, because weren't there, like you said, I know there's always been respect there. I'm sorry to cut you off just quickly. Weren't you at one point, even like just for a couple of months, a bit pissed off about the fact your name was mentioned, or have I just made that up?
No, I hear what you're saying, but you've got to remember, it's my job as one of the leading flyweights to make the storylines and to shed light. I mean, if I don't do it, there's not too many fighters out there that can. So, you know, people like Tommy Frank, other fighters maybe that I've fought or been rumoured with, the fight gets made bigger for the future if people are aware who these people are. Do you know what I mean? You see a bit of back and forth. So I understand the business, and with me, it's, if you want to mention my name, let's go. Do you know what I mean? But like, there's never been no like real bad blood when I'm sitting there. But like I said to Tommy when I seen him last week, we've got to learn as fighters what to use and how to use it to promote ourselves and make ourselves look the best possible. I mean, if you fight one of my opponents and old opponents and don't do as good as me or do worse or lose, etc., then, especially when we've had a bit of conversation, we've had a bit of dialogue, I'm trying to show everyone that have seen our rumoured fight, look, you've remembered us, me being annoyed at certain things getting mentioned from his promoter side. So I've got to build on that. I mean, it would make more sense for me for Tommy Frank to come through next week and then build up, get a shot at maybe like a mandatory or in a higher position with the IBF. Of course it would. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to look to fight Guerreros again. Do you know what I mean? It is all the rivals that make most sense for me. I'm really sort of silently supporting them. But when it's time for me to promote myself and make myself look good, maybe at, you know, sort of posting, you know, a video or a picture of someone that I've beat just after someone else hasn't. It's what you got to do, do you know what I mean? You've got to. 1 second.
No, yeah, look, I hear, obviously, what you're saying, and it'd just be nice because a domestic flyaway fight is not something you get very often. Like, I don't know, I can't remember the last decent domestic flyweight tear-up we had.
Yeah, me and Marcel. And then me and Ryan Farag.
Oh, at world level.
Oh, at world level. Yeah, of course, but it'll be me and Jay.
We're talking like history book stuff. Like.
Yeah, but it'll be me and Jay Harris before that. He's fighting in a few weeks, and I expect him to come through that and then be my next mandatory, as long as I get through my mandatory first. You know, that's still a big if. I'm fighting at world level now. Tomorrow is definitely not guaranteed, especially not at this level. You've got to work, you've got to, you know, keep grinding, and hopefully you get through that, and then me and Jay can set up a big fight, because I think a lot of people would get behind that one.
That is an absolute barnstorm, you two. Talk about your mandatory. When?
Jason Mama, and from Philippines. He's looked after by the same people as like Casemiro, you know, Sean Gibbons. So And I think maybe something to do with Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if it's all connected. I'm not too sure. But yeah, he's a good fighter. He's tough. He's strong. He's someone that I've sort of seen perking up on the radar for a little bit now. He's had a couple of good record wins, but not the best like name wins. But he looks dangerous. He looks heavy-handed. Good body shots, etc. And yeah, it's going to be a hard fight, definitely. I know that. I'm preparing for that. There's a massive target on my back. I know the feeling going into your first world title shot. I know that feeling. I've just had that feeling. So I'm expecting a young 16-0 pro just like myself to, put his whole heart, life, and soul into it. So I've got to be the best version of me again. And I should have a nice, good run up. I've been in the gym. I've already been sparring. You can see the scuffs on my face and my arms. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm loving being a boxer right now. I think it's a great time to be one, and probably an even better time to be a world champion.
Yeah, I was just saying, you just seem to sort of run round and just suck it all up. Like, you're just loving life, just running around, even if it's just chatting to people, taking a piss, just loving it all. But yeah, when is this going to be? Obviously, Frank's going to announce sort of a row of summer shows, I imagine, just headlining one of them.
I'm not too sure. I leave it all to my team. I leave it to my advisor, Daniel Kinahan, and my manager, Anto, and MTK. I've got a great team behind me. I don't really need to second guess and be trying to sort of get there before they get there, because I know that when the time comes, they've got me this far, listening, and me just saying yes to everything they offered me, and look at me now. Not turned down no fights, not turned down no opponents, not trying to pick an easy routes or cheating records. I feel like I've come up the honest way. Started at small hall, boxed in a few different countries, got that experience as well. Of course I was ready for my world title shot. You know what I mean? I've been looked after terribly well. Been in fights that have given me gut checks all throughout, and I've learned things about myself each and every time. So the time I get in with an elite fighter over 12 rounds, it's nothing new. It weren't a surprise. It weren't a shock to the system. I was ready for it, and obviously I took my opportunity in both hands.
Julio Cesar Martinez. I see, obviously, what you've said on Twitter. You're not happy with that, and I suppose some people might say rightly so. He's fighting in Mexico, defending his WBC world title against someone who has not had more than a 6-rounder. Was it? So I suppose you could say people might see why you've got a bit of a gripe with that defence.
No, I think he's had a few 8 and 10s, just not in a 12-rounder, I said, if you're going off what I said. No, it was more his record, He's got 12 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws. He's been stopped, I think, half the time when he's lost, and he's only got 3 knockouts. It's like, that is proper uninspiring matchmaking. How long ago is it? It's in 3 weeks, right? Trust me, for a WBC world title, they could have got a lot of people willing to get over in 3 weeks for a shot at a world title. So that just seems very uninspiring. It seems, why are certain people in certain places of the world allowed to get these proper easy voluntaries that would definitely get knocked back over here? I guarantee if I tried putting a 12-4 and 2 lad in for my first defence, it would get knocked back. You know what I mean? That's terrible, I think, personally. But I mean, I'm not a governing body. I'm just a boxer. So, I don't think they're in no rush to fight me. I think, you can see where people are saying, oh, he's in a rush to move up weight all of a sudden. Kind of hints at that maybe that last fight when he pulled out wasn't an injury, probably was more of a weight issue. I mean, they're the rumours, they're the whispers, but you know what boxing's like. But yeah, so I just don't think they are in any rush to come anywhere near me. I mean, I've poked enough time at the fire right now, and I've got no reaction. Eddie's been asked about it, bounced around it in questions, and I just don't think I don't think I'm in their path to success, and definitely not. I mean, I'd be a massive, massive banana skin, I think, and they know that, and I just don't think that. I just don't think they'd confidently put him in the ring against me and know for 100% that he's gonna knock me out or beat me. I think, and right now he's probably the A star fighter in the division. He's probably the one that stands out, the biggest name, let's say. So yeah, he's gonna try and protect that, and you can see with this uninspiring matchmaking that's the case. I mean, he would have known about this date for a long time, and this is the opponent they've got. I think it's terrible, to be honest. I mean, I weren't even fighting fighters as sort of at that level for international titles, let alone defending well. But hey, it's voluntary boxing, isn't it? And I suppose they'll be happy with that. It should be an easy knockover job, and then on to the next one. But if he wants to unify before he goes out, I know for a fact that the biggest fight out there for him is me right now, because we are there's backstory. There's 2 world titles, arguably the 2 that, you know, a lot of time people say they want the WBC or they want the IBF. It's one of them at the moment. And the Ring magazine, number 1 versus number 2. I mean, how can you disagree? How can you argue? I'm trying to make this fight. I want payday, as I said on the seconds out the other day. You know what I mean? And I just want to fight the best. I want to fight the best. I'll fight all my mandatories, and in my voluntaries, it's the best fight I can get. I think I'll be at World Level for a long time to come, with whether I pick up a few belts, lose a few belts, and all the thing in between. I don't need to sit here protecting records or matchmaking easy steps. I think I'm the best in the division, including Martinez, including Nakatani and Dalakane. I think I'm the best. And people might think that's arrogant, but for me, it's just confidence. I mean, yeah. I mean, and if I weren't believing myself like that from before I even had a pro fight,
You'd never beaten Maruti.
I would never have probably beaten half of the fighters on the way up. I mean, I've taken step ups when people thought I weren't going to or shouldn't have, or this is a bit early. Do you know what I mean? I've heard that, and I've taken every opportunity that's been given to me, and it's paid off. So
Cross-platform fights are there to be made, yeah. But obviously, we've seen this sort of deal with Eddie Reynoso and Canelo team where they're going to start putting shows in Mexico, which you would imagine would be fronted by Julio Cesar Martinez. Let's say there was a 20% chance now. Has that deal sort of lessened that even more? Because I suppose they want him fronting, and you know, if you call yourself the banana skin for Martinez and they see it that way, they don't really need him losing his world title to someone, 1, on another platform, and 2, if he's going to front this new deal. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%, but that just shows their level of confidence. Because if they thought they was going to do to me what he done to Selby, what he done to Harris, what he done to my brother, then I should be an easy world title pickup. Do you not agree? I actually had my phone ringing on the Monday of me having the world title, but I didn't. No other world champions have contacted me trying to, what's Sonny doing? Can we squeeze unification? That's not happened. I've mentioned in interviews publicly, me, myself, that I want these fights, you know, and sort of for at times like this, you sort of need them to meet you somewhere halfway to sort of start getting the dialogue. But yeah, radio silence for Showtime. They don't seem to want no part of me, and rightly so, because you've got to remember how avoided Maruti was, and avoiding a fighter being avoided is the biggest, you know, compliment they can ever be paid. Once the rest of the division sort of always tends to move in a different direction when you got a world title as well. You can see how avoided Maruti was. So for me to beat him, and maybe in the fashion that I did, you know, I probably did earn the respect of the people watching the division, like, you know, Martinez would be. Because they probably seen that, it's Charlie Edwards' brother that's boxing him. Let me have a look. Do you know what I mean? He probably would have seen me when I was sort of in Charlie's shadow, following him around, holding his belt up for him and that. So he probably is on to me, but you know, I just don't think they want any part of it, and so be it. I mean, I'm here. I'm an easy person to make a fight with. I want the biggest fights, and for me, this is the quickest way to sort of making the legacy that will be spoke about, you know, way past beyond my career. That's what I've always wanted, the biggest and best career, and to be known as someone that always did fight and push for the biggest fights, was public about it, was vocal about it. So when the fights aren't happening, you know it's not me trying to sort of bounce my way soft foot. Do you know what I mean? You know, they know where I am when they want me, and they know how to get in contact. But they're busy stuck fighting 12 and 4 kids. I mean, surely I've got the best win at the flyweights at the moment. You'd think so. I don't know how I beat the Ring Magazine #1 to only become the Ring Magazine #2. Slightly offended, to be honest. I thought that would have gave me #1, but you know, I just have to beat the #1 again, if he ever gets in the ring. But if he moves on and vacates, that will be my spot by default. So then the next other champion, we can get it on for the Ring Magazine, because that's the title I want more than them other world title belts. Now I'm #2. I feel like I can push for that, because that's a pipe dream, you know. Winning one of them, I remember seeing Lomachenko's when it come to town. I remember seeing Josh Taylor's, you know, that their memories I can remember. Do you know what I mean?
You know what sounds weird? Yeah? It's the only time, like, obviously, I've looked at people's British titles and you're like, oh, mate, that's a piece of kit, that. But the only time I've ever honestly got goosebumps looking at a belt is a Ring Magazine belt. When I first saw it when Lomachenko come over, I was like, shit, like, it's just a serious piece of kit.
Yeah. I mean, it just laying there, it just sort of glows that little bit different, and probably because it just means that much more. That is the closest thing we get to a recognised #1 at the weight. Like, you are the champion of the world. Because right now, I think I'm the best in the world, but there's 3 other very good fighters that also are saying the same thing. And we've all got equal right to it. Some have been longer, some have beat better, some have been, you know what I mean, had more defenses. So yeah, everyone's got like a kind of a 25% stake of the #1 in the division. Get me another one of them world titles and I'll be 50% stakeholder. That's what I'm trying to get. I want to be the first one to unify out of these lot. Because the flyweights have been kept apart for too long. I feel like the unification fights haven't happened. And look at Josh Taylor. When it all goes right, 2 fights in a row, win 1 world title, and then unify and undispute the next. You know what I mean? It just makes sense that that's what all the fighters from all corners of the world should be looking at. But you know, everyone wants sort of the protected, wants the perfect route, wants the easy steps around to sort of drain and drip feed the most money out of the sport they can. And that's not really the way I operate. I've always wanted the best fights for forever. I've never, you know, got off as opponent and started asking for more money. Do you know what I mean? I'm just, get me the best fight you can and let's go. And that's what it's been. And look how it's paid off for me now. I'm in arguably one of the best positions, you know, of British fighters at the moment.
Well, it is just nice in general, just as we wrap this up, it is just nice that I remember there was a point when Charlie suffered the same sort of fate for a while as well, where it's just like nothing's going to happen because of the weight you're at. It's just like, where's the fights, where's the hype, where's the buzz? And now we've just done 15 minutes and we spoke about Tommy Frank potentially in the future. Your mandatory coming up, who you said is what, 16-0 kid, who obviously he's got something about him. Martinez for unification, the other guys. So it's just like there's stuff going on. So all positive basically.
Yeah, you just need storylines, you need legacy, you need the eyes in front of the people. You need 2 fighters of people to be excited about for the fight to be exciting. You could fight the best fighter in the world, but because no one knows him, you've lost to someone that's useless. Or you beat someone that's useless because no one knows who he is. Doesn't mean he's not up there, a great fighter. Look how many times we see fighters go on from humble beginnings to go and smash it, and they've lost a couple of times coming up and when they're early and whatnot, when people hasn't known them, or when they've come over and caused massive upsets. And all of a sudden, 1 win, they've gone from being unrecognised and easy touch, 20-1, to being a dangerous threat in the world division. I mean, we haven't even got to go back too far to think of loads of examples of that. So that's what we love boxing for. But for me, it's just everyone should be wanting to be the best, and you get the excitement from the best fighting each other. Win, lose or draw, that's how you build a division. Look at the super flyweights. Have shown the blueprint to bring attention to any fight. Just fight each other. The biggest names at the weight, get it on. You can fight each other 2, 3, 4 times if they're good fights. If you build your way up, get a couple of good wins or get a belt, you go again. And how many times do people win fights that they lost 5, 10 years ago, or we having a rematch and everyone's watching it and 3,000 punches are thrown? The flyweight is booming, and some great fighters, not just around the world but in Britain as well. Like, there is some really decent lads, but it's just about getting people interested. But the only way you can do that is by being in fights people are interested in. That's why us as flyweights need to take them harder fights early and need to put your face out there, do that little bit more promotion, go back and forth and get people more naturally interested in, you know, a division typically they're not. But I feel like we're doing a good job at the moment, and a lot of people now, it's like a way to not be a casual boxing fan, to like the flyweights, isn't it?
Follow the flyweights, yeah.
It's like a niche. Oh, well, you didn't watch the flyweight fight last week, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's niche markets, isn't it? It's niche markets, but, you know, British boxing's going to be buzzing when all the shows are back flying and the crowds are there. I mean, we're waiting for it. Boxing's in a great place at the moment. It's a very desirable place to be in at the moment, and there's a lot of eyes on it. So, and there's a lot of big, powerful people getting involved in boxing in a big way. Maybe not all the same as what we're at here right now with people like Triller and with the YouTube fighting and whatnot, but at the same time, it's bringing fans and soaking up attention to these events. And when fights start being like the Super Bowl or start being like the Champions League final, and they're such monumental pieces of, you know, history, then yeah, we'll get the just desserts for the fighters. I mean, that's why only the very few get to the top, because they capture the imagination of the general public, and that's what it's about. I mean, if you just bring a hard fight to the ring, it's going to be very hard to get good opportunities. You need to be doing more. You need to be.
Right, Sonny, thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV. And you did mention the Champions League final, so we might as well end it by saying Chelsea, the champions of Europe, happy days.
Yeah, man, I was buzzing with that. I could enjoy it as well. I got into a little sports bar, and I got to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? I got to enjoy it. That was good. We're the best team in Europe, so it just is what it is. I know that That probably made a lot of people mad right now. But you know what I mean. Don't get bitter, get better. So yeah, it's been a good run of. It's been good for me. I feel like just buying a few lottery tickets. I feel like I just keep winning at the moment. Actually, a Somba was the last one that hurt me. That hurt me last week. I didn't think he lost, but you know what boxing's about. So yeah.
Yeah, like you said, you're on a good run, and if you buy some lottery tickets or scratch cards, send them my way. And yeah, and I'm sure I'll speak to you very soon. And unlike certain other people, if I promise to do an interview, Sonny, I swear I'll keep my promise.
Yeah, this is just a quick message straight down the camera to Umar IFL Umar. You stood me up the first time, and then you promised to come up to Sheffield about 3.5 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting. But he did catch a private jet up to go chill with Josh Taylor in the meantime. So priorities. But a few people got Umar's bookmarked already. Do you know what I mean? A few people, I've heard a few stories about Umar, but yeah. I mean, next time you ask for an interview, I might say no.